Hello, everybody. Broadcasting to you live from the spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere in between the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans. My name is Brian Engelman. That's Blake Walley. And this is the Agree to Disagree show for Tuesday, November the 12th, 2024. Man, oh man, the cabinet picks, they are hot and heavy in the Trump administration. Ooh, doesn't that sound good? The Trump administration. Oh my gosh, we're back. We're so back. We are so back. There's a million things to talk about. We're just going to kind of keep it high and tight today. We're going to scroll through the Twitter feed, see what we have to say. But yeah, some appointment cabinet picks have been made. Others are still being lobbied for. And we'll maybe kind of go through and give it like a random or a preliminary scorecard. There's some that I'm more excited about than others for sure. But we are going to bring that to you. Please leave your comments. If you're watching on the Facebook page, go to youtube.com/The New American Media, and your comments can be read live on the air in our chat room. Kenneth is asking, cabinetwits. Are there any cabinetwits who are going to join? I don't know. Marco Rubio, little Marco, perhaps. Ooh, that's a tough one. At least Nikki Haley is going to be on the outside. But regardless, we're going to talk about those stories and more on today's show. So without further ado, let's get started. Oh my goodness. Blake Walley, it's good to see you, sir. How have you been? Have I not talked to you since Tuesday? Has it been? Or did we do Thursday? No, I think we did jump in. We did a trick or treat. Wait, no, that was before.
We did a Halloween show, right?
That was before the election.
Yeah, we did the live stream on election night. That was the last show that I've done.
That was an 8-hour marathon, man. That was wild. We had a lot of dead air to fill. I tried not to cannibalize all of it, but I was definitely like, hey, I'll pick up the slack and I'll carry a half hour babbling and reading comments. Man, it was fun. That was a good live stream. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun. Special occasion.
Absolutely.
And, I've been very, very busy. I've been moving to Nashville, so I am finally, 80% moved in. So new space. Brian says I have an echo, so I'm in an empty-ish room, but I have a studio room, which is good.
Ooh.
Better internet, which is good, but I guess I don't know. I'll have to figure out something for the sound.
Yeah, you'll see on the playback. It's a little. I don't know. Maybe you need some of those foam pads or something to just absorb. It sounds like it's bouncing in a grand hall. Okay, cool. Well, let's just jump into it, Blake.
Okay.
Jeez. Donald Trump administration. Just before we get into the nuts and bolts of Tom Homan running running ICE and all of the people who are starting to jump onto this administration, what does it feel like having dedicated so much of you for the past year and a half, just trying to go, good Lord, we've got to get this country back on track. And now we've had a week of separation. It's done. Trump is back in. What thoughts have you had over the past week? I know you've been busy, so you might not be thinking much. You're dealing with other stuff with moving your, where you're living, but what's it like, man? Let's start there.
I mean, yeah, well, it's pretty awesome that I was getting very worried that it was going to get stolen. I wasn't trusting it. And now, for Trump to win and decisively, this is probably about the best case scenario. So now I feel good about the future of the country. And then I don't know what's next. So it's kind of been the resistance and covering the news and trying to get Trump elected. Now I'm not sure. Hopefully, I don't know.
There's so much work to do, Blake. There are so many, what do they say, 4,000 or 5,000 appointments that have to be made from the Trump administration now. Who is going to get selected to be in this great government? So I guess that's kind of the gist of today's show. We're going to kind of scroll through and kind of figure out what to make of the stories in the news. Before we get to that, let's just start here. According to Wall Street Silver, Blake, CNN will be axing top stars. I'll use air quote stars in layoffs that will see hundreds fired. CNN reportedly set to fire some of its top talent in a round of post-election layoffs. The rumblings, first reported by Puck News, come as high-paid personalities like Jake Tapper and Wolf Blitzer were reportedly recently denied raises. The two already boast salaries of $7 million and $3 million, while stars like Anderson Cooper take home an annual $20 million. Caitlin Collins and Aaron Burnett also command inflated earnings, $3 million and $6 million apiece, respectively. Insiders told Puck the new round of firings will likely see the on-air talent like them affected as the network's new CEO looks to free up finances amid waning ratings. Blake, this is a bit of a referendum on the old American media. They are on the way out, it seems, just like the deep state Democrats. What say you to this recent round of layoffs as the eyeballs leave the fake news propaganda sites?
Well, I can't feel sorry for them. To me, it's ill-gotten gains, a lot of that. They've been spreading misinformation and propaganda for many years, which is why we do this. And I have made a lot of sacrifices, and I am broke as can be. I've already gone through bankruptcy and went through all kinds of personal hell so that I can try to tell the truth while these people made millions of dollars to lie to people. So don't care.
Pause right there on don't care. Let me just play this clip from the CNN talent to just remind us what we might be missing in some future programming here.
So when they went to the Capitol and they were breaking into the Capitol, smashing windows, injuring police officers, why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me pull it out. I have to pull it out.
Let me pull it out.
So if you look at, on January 5th, the day before, I said, please support our Capitol Police and law enforcement. They are truly on the side of our country. Stay peaceful.
Pretty clear.
Stay peaceful. This was the day before, and this was in the form of Twitter. Now use Truth Social. I think it's far superior, okay? I hope everybody's on Truth. If you look January 6th, this is before 2:30. I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. This is right after, as it was happening. But what happened is they took it down. I don't know why. I think they took it down because it was so good. They didn't like it being up there.
I mean,
I am asking, and we didn't know until I got it back, because now I have 90 million people waiting for me to go back, but I'm on Truth and I'm staying on Truth. Listen, I am asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. No violation. We want no violation. We want no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. That was at 2:30. That was very early.
Mr. President,
that was 2:30. I mean, Blake, just this network, CNN, MSNBC, they've done nothing but gaslight the American people, causing brain damage to the poor saps who consume that tripe, thinking it's not the poison that it is. It's not news. It's not who, what, where, when, why. It's deep state Democrat propaganda, and they're lies and hoaxes. These networks that have been pushing this stuff, they are hemorrhaging eyeballs, rightfully so. I mean, that case in point right there, couldn't be any more obvious what President Trump was saying, and the fact that they tried to throw him down a memory hole as if he had no presence online, coordinated effort to take him off of all social media at once, deperson him. He had to create, he's like a modern day Batman or something out of Atlas Shrugged. He had to create Truth Social, so he had a place to speak after being excommunicated into the cyber realms of Nowheresville. I mean, it's just almost too much to parse out, Blake. There's a lot to unpack, but CNN's getting exactly what they're due, it seems.
No, I'm glad he brought the receipts there to call her out. So I don't know why he even took an interview with her, but yeah, that's testament to him. He's willing to take the hostile interviews and bring the receipts and do a fact check on them live on air, which was great to see.
Absolutely. So CNN will be taking people down. Here, let me switch the screen here. So yeah, CNN definitely hemorrhaging people. Check this one out. Jeffrey Sachs talking about how the U.S. and NATO provoked a war in Ukraine. I want you to watch this because it's important. We don't need to get into this on this channel. But Blake, how about this one? Donald Trump has now surpassed 75 million views And since the election night, now we can safely say, I believe, they've decided 218 Republicans in the House to 209 for the Democrats. Republicans picking up one seat. And now there is a massive mandate for the Don. He has the Senate, he has the House, he has the presidency, and he has a favorable Supreme Court. What is the significance of having this now? If we had Trump for the past 4 years, the Congress would have been screwed up. He would have had more impeachment attempts. He would have been blocked in a lot of ways. And now he just has 2 years to go buck wild. What do you think we're about? What do you think it is we're getting ready to see here as Donald starts off strong? It seems like he's chomping at the bit. He's been waiting 4 years to get back in charge again.
Yeah, this could work up to be advantageous I guess another term, not the way we expected it. So not in 2020. So yeah, it might line up that way. And yeah, it's time to get to work and make the most of this. So can't be sitting around. So this doesn't happen very often. And we don't want to look back and say we didn't do enough. So hit the ground running and make as many good things happen as we can, straighten out government and clean up the voting system. So maybe we can, they can keep that majority going in, because I know there's some questionable results on some of that now with the presidential stuff, and I haven't even really dug in too much into that with the Senate seats and
now, which ones are you thinking about? Kerry Lake? Are you talking about in Pennsylvania?
Yeah. There's a bunch of them where it shows that more people voted for the Senate race than the presidential race. But then somehow all those Democrats won. And then in the Wisconsin count, I haven't dug too much into it because I've been so busy, and I've been stuck in my old place without much internet. I've been siphoning Wi-Fi from my neighbor. So I'm finally getting into my new studio. So trying to get caught up here. But yeah, I know there's still some problems with 2020. And of course, it's also been exposed that how did they get 15 million more people voting in 2020? Doesn't add up. Oh yeah, it's because they never actually went through all those ballots to figure out who all these votes were. And there's too many states that don't require voter ID or what have you, have lax policy. So we shall see. So they have everything lined up to do a lot of positive change that this country desperately needs.
Oh, it is so refreshing to actually feel like the adults are back in the room. Let's talk about border czar Tom Homan. I think they're using that term, maybe, I don't know, jokingly, to maybe just call attention to the fact that Kamala was actively committing treason by leaving the border wide open. Let's just call it what it is. You have very few responsibilities in the federal government that matter. And I think doing a basic toxin screening to keep the worst people out of this place is the number one job you have. And number two, it's defending yourself against any bad people who wish to do you or your population harm. Let me pull up a video here. This is Tom Homan. He is going to be amazing, according to Pied Piper. What's up, Pied Piper? Yeah, Tom Homan brings the heat, people. Let me go ahead. I'm going to switch the screen to this. We're going to go full screen to Homanville. And let's just listen to who this guy is and what mentality he's bringing to the Trump administration. We'll get your thoughts.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Families can be deported together, Blake. I mean, this is what it looks like to actually have somebody that cares about border security in charge of border security. It's almost impossible for me to remember a time that the person in charge of border security cared about border security. What does Tom Homan joining the team mean to you?
So far, I'm pretty impressed. I mean, it's sad that it's come to this, but I mean, the Democrats made this mess. I don't want to see, whole families getting deported, but they never should have been incentivized to be here in the first place. So it's the last administration's fault. Hopefully we can keep some of the good people, but we have to go through and find out who's here and start removing so many of the bad ones. And they brought in a lot of bad ones.
Mm-hmm.
So it ruins everything for even the good people.
Yeah. I mean, ask the people of Springfield, Ohio, if they voted to have their city overrun. I don't think that was something that the residents said, I think this would be a great idea for our small community here that we've grown so accustomed to. We should become an enclave for a small island community whose neighbors won't allow them into their place, but that's another story. So there's a lot of names coming out, being floated, Blake. I'll just buzz through some commentary because some of these are confirmed, some are not. So Ben Shapiro wants, Walz for Waltz. I got to get used to saying Waltz instead of Walz. Waltz for NSA, Rubio for Secretary of State. I've got a fever, and the only prescription is more winning, says Shapiro.
Why would you retweet that?
Because it's his perspective, and we should talk about it. What concern does that give of you? Because you're not a Ben Shapiro fan. You're not a Marco Rubio fan. You have concerns about this.
Yeah.
What say you?
I'm America first.
I don't like one quick thought before you get started. A retweet is not always an endorsement. I share things because it's interesting to see his view, and then I encourage people to go, oh, if Shapiro's for it, I got concerns. He's a warmonger. So what say you?
Right. Why would you want to promote that? I mean, that's one of the biggest concerns I've seen on the board. Now, I don't know a lot about Waltz, but I know a lot of people I respect are concerned about that.
Yes.
Don't want the neocons poisoning the administration. They did a lot of damage last time around, and they will do the same thing again if they get their filthy fingers in there. So unlike Ben, I'm America first, not Israel first. I'm a little concerned about some of these picks. I don't know anybody who can want to be excited about Rubio being the Secretary of State. So if I've seen anybody freak out, it's about that one. It's like, what are they thinking? Why would they want Rubio in there? A neocon. Now maybe he's not the brightest, so maybe he just has other people that pull his strings. I mean,
but remember what Secretary
he's always been. Yeah.
You put Hillary Clinton there, a presidential wannabe. You put John Kerry there, a presidential wannabe. The Secretary of State, Joe Biden under Obama, running around, starting wars, getting bribes, getting kickbacks, funding what did they call them? Militants, rebels, moderate rebels. You got the McCains, the presidential picks that didn't quite make it. Now, not all people end up Secretary of State. McCain didn't, but these people that run around the globe, these are the neocons. These are the deep state globalists. These are the people that are kind of playing ball. Now, he's not going to be able to negotiate anything that Trump won't sign off on. I don't know. I don't like this pick. I don't know who else would be primed to do this position. But I have concerns, and let me just read a few of them off. Diego Adrian Rivera says, Rubio is a Cuban Liz Cheney. You ain't draining squat with picks like this. What do you think about that? A Cuban Liz Cheney. Is that a fair representation, Blake? A nice way to say that?
I don't know. Somewhat, but I get the idea.
Michelle Tafoya backing this pick, saying the racist misogynist has chosen the first Latino Secretary of State to go along with the first female chief of staff. That is true. Dave Smith, who we ran into at the Libertarian Convention in D.C. a few months ago, says Marco Rubio is a disaster. Might as well give Liz Cheney the State Department. Awful sign.
Yeah, so Brian, they're contradicting. So why would you promote the Ben Shapiro tweet?
Blake, I just went over this.
Oh, okay, I know.
The retweet is not an I want to encourage the robust conversation.
Right. When people say they're not endorsements of like the person, that's one thing. But I mean, you're endorsing the tweet, right?
No.
You can like it, you can bookmark it.
If I write something in the tweet, you'll hear the commentary behind it. We're just showing perspectives, and I think that's fair. So yeah, Hispanic Americans are excited. Rubio, blah blah blah, for Trump. Okay, so yeah, they're threatening kicking the United States out of NATO. By the way, depending on how they close down the Ukrainian war, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, Donald Trump called Marco Rubio a total lightweight. wouldn't hire him to run one of his smaller companies. Highly overrated, but then he makes him Secretary of State. I'm a little confused by it. I'm definitely.
Is it official? It's not official, is it? Because he keeps saying little Marco, like he has no business being there.
No, this was from years ago. This was from like.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I know, because people are rightfully, as far as I'm rightfully freaking out. So Ben Shapiro is the only person I've seen that thinks this is a good idea, but he is an Israel first neocon.
Yeah, Declaration of Memes says Marco Rubio is a total neocon. The American people voted a resounding no against the warmongers in D.C. If Trump puts him in his cabinet, he's showing he's learned zero lessons from his first term. No Marco Rubio, no neocons. So there's that. This was Marco Rubio, I believe recently. This is, who you want in this office. Maybe depends on how you view this clip. Let's let it roll. Marco in his own words.
Senator Rubio, will you call for ceasefire?
No, I will not.
Gaza?
On the contrary.
Senator Rubio,
Are you filming it?
Wait,
So I want you guys to get this. I want them to destroy every element of Hamas they can get their hands on. These people are vicious animals who did horrifying crimes. And I hope you guys post that.
And what about the civilians that are being killed every day?
Hamas should stop hiding behind civilians, putting civilians in the way. Hamas knew that this was going to lead to this. So Hamas should stop building their military installations underneath hospitals.
So you don't care that 15,000 have died? You don't care about the babies that are being killed every day?
I think it's horrifying. I think it's terrible, and I think Hamas is 100% to blame. That's what I think. Make sure you post that, please.
So, I mean, you and I have had long, in-depth conversations about that topic. You and I don't know. I don't like the warmongering, but it's like, who started the fight? Hamas did. It's awful what's happening. And I blame the people that started the war. Blake, you have a different take on it, but that's Marco in his element.
Yeah, fuck Hamas, but also, it's also disgusting what they're doing to the Palestinians. I don't like that either. So, but of course, Rubio is 100% unwavering, 100% pro-Israel without any question at all. So that's another reason I don't like him.
This post saying until Donald Trump himself confirms that he named Rubio and Waltz, he's going to assume it's untrue. So, have these been completely confirmed, or are these just being floated? There's a lot of this going on. You saw perhaps one of the best members of Congress, Thomas Massey, being floated out there for Attorney General, maybe some false reports preliminarily saying he has the AG, the Agriculture Secretary position, rather. But yeah, maybe not completely confirmed as of yet. I don't know. Maybe Tulsi Gabbard, Blake. Do you think she might be a better Secretary of State, perhaps? Maybe Vivek Ramaswamy?
I mean, as much as I like Vivek, I think that's a bit of a stretch. I don't know. He's a talented guy who could help in a lot of capacities and deserves a good cabinet position. But I think his Secretary of State is one of the top positions, and he's still relatively new. I like Tulsi a lot more than I like Rubio. One of my few criticisms of Tulsi is, again, she's also way too unwavering with Israel. So it makes me uncomfortable that they're going to escalate any tensions, or hopefully they'll end that whole thing. But I trust her, and as also being much more reasonable than a Rubio, who's absolutely got his strings pulled by people behind the scenes. So it might as well be just Karl Rove, dressed up as Marco. I mean, he does not think for himself. I'm not impressed with Marco. Never have been. To me, he's just been made by the neocons. He's their little puppet. He's a little puppet boy. And I don't think he has any business being up there.
Yeah, and you want to talk about Tom Homan, Pied Piper saying Homan gives no Fs and it's glorious. Yeah, the exact opposite of Marco reading off a script, repeating talking points. Interesting video I saw Tulsi Gabbard saying she was asked about what was it like in working with Trump, going all those speeches, and what type of talking points were you given? And she's like, I was given 0 talking points. I'm allowed to say what I think. Mr. President, President Trump, he knows that we disagree on some issues, and I'm allowed to say it. It was just so refreshing to see that people that think for themselves. Ruby Soho. Pied Piper saying getting kicked out of NATO might probably be a good thing. I mean, we're paying the whole damn bill. Pied Piper hearing that Tulsi may be Secretary of Defense. We shall see. Let me read this post on X because I'll just tear through these names. And of course, some of these have been confirmed, some have not. Lee Zeldin for EPA chief. It looks like that one is confirmed. Any thoughts on Lee Zeldin out of New York?
I'd say I lean more positive on that. I don't have a huge opinion on him. I mean, I wanted him to see him win over the hideous Hochul, who's a disaster. So yeah, I guess Lee Zeldin would be an upgrade over there. EPA, I mean, yeah, I don't, not real strong opinion on that, I'll say.
Gotcha. Susie Wiles. I mean, Susie ran his campaign, and I thought it was one of the best campaigns, if not the best campaign I've ever witnessed in my lifetime, perhaps a perfect campaign. Now she's going to become the chief of staff, the first woman to hold that position. Any thoughts on her? Maybe we weren't familiar with her, but she was kind of in charge of a fantastic campaign. I think she deserves the promotion, in my opinion. She knows how to stay organized, stay on track, get things done.
Yeah, fine with me. One I don't know a lot about, but I will take their word for it and assume she's good.
Tom Homan, we discussed. Border czar, that is confirmed. Any thoughts on Elise Stefanik, UN ambassador? You know, that was maybe what Nikki Haley was aiming at, and now it's Elise Stefanik. I don't know how familiar you are with Elise. She held the Harvard she held the 3 of the presidents of the Ivy League schools to account for their support of Hamas and Palestine.
Hamas. Let's be clear on that.
I think we need to be clear who are the terrorist sympathizers and who are not. We can disagree on that. But does that make you dislike Stefanik then?
Okay, saying they're they're anti-genocide against the people does not make them pro-Hamas. That's one of those.
And that was not what 100% of that group was.
Right.
That was not 100% of that group. There's a lot of people in that group that hold all of the most abhorrent positions that aren't out there. They're definitely in that group, for sure.
Right. Well, they made a lot of noise, and I saw a lot of it about, it's just the anti-Jew protest or this pro-Hamas protest. And we actually saw them in Chicago, Brian, and shame on you. They were all nice people. There wasn't a single pro-Hamas person in that group that I saw. Maybe there's a couple in there. Just as people we've seen that have been to those protests, it's a very, very tiny minority that are actually pro-Hamas. There are people that are pro-Palestine. There are people that are criticize Zionism, which I understand. But to say that they're pro-Hamas is disingenuous.
And the government of Palestine has been elected to be Hamas. These are the people who are running.
No, Brian, you're going to go for that bullshit again. Are you serious? Right. We've been over this shit, and I've kicked your ass on this debate, and you've been full of shit. That's not true, and you know that. Those people that were Hamas elected from 2006, so most of the people that are there were not even eligible to vote, so they didn't fucking vote them in. So stop saying that. Be intellectually honest. You don't have to like Hamas. Fuck Hamas. Good. Let's agree on that. But there's innocent Palestinians that are getting exterminated over there. And then they got to say that they have the fucking audacity to say that they're, pro-Hamas protests. No, they're not. They're anti-genocide protests. Anyway, let's be real on that. I don't know. You want to work for Benny Boy? That's cool. I get whatever. Good God, Brian. We
disagree on this topic. We always have. And you're always able to tell me where you disagree. You're always able to say that.
All right.
Every time. Any thoughts on, you said you're not familiar with Michael Waltz, National Security Advisor.
There's people not liking that one, and I will take their word for it and be skeptical about him. But whatever, you can't hit them all, I suppose, but let's definitely keep Rubio out of the Secretary of State. That's way too big of a promotion. He doesn't deserve that
one. Stephen Miller, Chief of Staff Policy, confirmed. Stephen Miller, any thoughts?
He seems all right. Good. Chief of Staff Policy. I don't even know what that is, but, he's been around, stuck around. Seems okay. None of these, I don't love any of these, but it seems like Tom Homan is a serious dude.
Yeah.
Some of the other people I'll lean more positively and give them a chance. And then I'm skeptical on Waltz and don't want Rubio. I don't know about Noem.
I don't know about Kristi Noem for Department of Homeland Security. I don't know if she's the best pick there. I don't know that I dislike her as the pick.
Yeah, what's wrong with her just being what is it, governor of South Dakota, North Dakota, South Dakota? I think it's South Dakota, right? Burgum is North Dakota.
Yeah, and we'll see if Burgum ends up getting a role as well. I think he will. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, there's rumors, there's some that are confirmed, and there's all the things in between, I suppose. Let me bounce over to Mario Nawful. This is an interaction with Sean Hannity here, and this is Rick Scott. What they're trying to do tomorrow is Mitch McConnell. Here, let me switch the screen here. Mitch McConnell has tried to set up a secret vote where backroom dealings, and you get to vote for the globalist neocon who's going to block the Trump agenda as opposed to somebody who's going to help the MAGA agenda move forward. This is going to be very interesting, Blake. The Senate Majority Leader is a really important position. Mitch McConnell has been the biggest disappointment. I mean, from a state like Kentucky that has Rand Paul and Thomas Massie, I don't know how they could get such a strikeout, as big a loser as Mitch McConnell. So almost anyone you put in there is going to be an upgrade over him, but not really. There's a couple of puppets being floated, and it seems like Rick Scott is the consensus choice here among the three that have been floated. Now, other names could be floated as well, and we don't know until they vote tomorrow, if they vote tomorrow. But here's a chat with Rick Scott.
I'm supporting you. You have a lot of other people supporting you. Tell us why you should get that job.
By the way, real quick, would a Sean Hannity endorsement be a red flag for you that Rick Scott is getting the endorsement? Because you're not a Hannity fan either.
Not necessarily. There are things that I like and things that I don't like. And Fox News, I hate when anything that comes to war, because they're always pro-war. And they're 100% pro-Israel, unwavering. That disgusts me. And then they're always, whatever with Putin or what have you. There's a lot of things I don't like. Now, they're light years better than, CNN or MSNBC. There are things that I agree on with Hannity. He's not my favorite, and certainly things I hate. And he's got a lot of those neocon ties that I would strongly disagree with. But Rick Scott, again, none of those picks I liked, but from what I'm seeing and looking at the smart people that are following that, they seem to think of those three top candidates that he's the best guy. And
out of the three, it seems like he's the consensus. I think Heritage Foundation had Rick Scott's career batting average at 95% Liberty scores. And then the other two that the deep state hacks that McConnell's trying to ram through, they're at 65 and 66, like damn near a flunking grade. So, I mean, just on those scores, if those matter to you, he seems to be the clear choice. All right, let's hear this clip.
Well, first, thank you for your support. Look, I'm a business guy.
Ooh, he's a little awkward.
Successful business guys.
Oh my God, he starts off like, I'm from a middle-class family.
Well, first, thank you for your support. Look, I'm a business guy. Successful business guys get things done.
From a middle-class family.
I want the Donald Trump agenda implemented. I want his nominees confirmed as quickly as we can get those nominees confirmed so we can get to work. He's got great nominees.
Now, I do agree with that. But before he continues, they're kind of having this talk about recess appointments, and are they going to hurry up and ram through all of the picks, or are they going to wait for Congress to come back, and then you got to have this big, long, drawn-out thing? I don't know how closely you've been following that procedural back and forth, wondering what they should do, but it is a pretty important distinction to make. Either you're going to go and name all the people, or you're going to wait around and keep things slow. It seems like they want to hit the ground running, Blake. Do you see any disadvantage to doing it that way? Any blowback or any potential windfall in a negative way for doing it that way? Because I think Trump made a mistake waiting too long, and they just dragged out every appointment so he couldn't get anything done. The goal with Trump was to run out the clock, drag him down with fake impeachments, just keep him from doing things. And it's like, no, I'd like to actually do the stuff on the agenda, like get things done and fix the country. Any thoughts on the procedural thing that we're about to see?
I saw a little bit of Bannon calling out some of the people. They're doing these little secret votes, and they're going to be exposed on who they're voting for. And I was very disappointed to see, people like Ted Cruz or what have you, voting for some of these other candidates. So I'm not sure of how these loyalties work behind the scenes, but we all deserve to know what's going on. I don't want to see Mitch McConnell up there or meddling around. He's got to go.
Got to go.
And we need to bring in people that are on Trump's side. So,
Agreed.
more neocons.
Agreed. Okay, let's let. And by the way, Rick Scott's serving as Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee right now. He continues.
Nominees confirmed so we can get to work. He's got great nominees. I hope it's true about Marco Rubio. My friend's going to be secretary.
There's a big red flag, right?
Yep. I don't. Yeah. Why can't they? Why isn't Rand Paul up there? Or has got to be somebody else that's better fit for this as the Senate leader? But
yeah, but here we are.
Got great nominees. I hope it's true about Marco Rubio. My friend's going to be Secretary of State. I hope that's all true. We've got to get his agenda done. We're
disqualified right now. Fuck off, Scott. I don't know. Maybe he's not. They got to have somebody else then. I don't know. Hey, it's good. I don't care if Marco Rubio is your friend. Cool. But you think he's going to be a good Secretary of State? You're out of your damn mind. I mean, to me, I think he's overqualified. You know, he shouldn't be there as a senator. Maybe as like a congressman somewhere.
All right, he continues.
Things through reconciliation, everything we can do. We need to maximize everything we can do to help Donald Trump get his agenda done. We had a great Tuesday. We had a great Tuesday. We can all be way more excited. But if we don't have the right leader in the Senate, then what's going to happen is all the things that Donald Trump wants to do is going to get bogged down, not going to happen. Nominees won't get done. So I am absolutely committed to do whatever it takes to get his nominees confirmed and get his agenda passed.
Man, he's not a great speaker, this guy. I had a really hard time.
Awful. Sorry. Yeah, no offense. But yes, as much as I don't like McConnell or Chuck Schumer, they do a better job, I would say.
Now, they're saying that if Marco Rubio has to resign his Senate seat, maybe Byron Donalds could take that position. We'll see. We're already talking past the sale, and this has not actually been confirmed, or it's sort of been confirmed. Once again, a lot of these are being reported a particular way, trying to find out if that's actually the case or not. Glenn Greenwald is saying here, I always want to hear what Glenn Greenwald has to say on almost everything. Trump often deviated from the views of his top advisors. And I know Donald Trump Jr. and others are doing what he said below. What he said below, well, hang on. But Trump's last three appointees, Stefanik, Welts, and Rubio, are war hawks fully aligned with the worst prongs of bipartisan D.C. consensus. Dave Smith saying, the Stop Pompeo movement is great, but it's not enough. Right now, we need maximum pressure to keep all neocons and war hawks out of the Trump administration. They've had their time at the table and brought nothing but disaster to the world and this country. So, that's
some serious stuff. So you were just, I don't want to say you were praising Stefanik, but you liked her work because she was,
I'm merely describing what she did. She held a lot of these presidents to the fire and just explained her position. They explained, and the people spoke. The people were not happy with what the presidents were allowing on their campuses. I'm just describing it.
Okay.
Wasn't necessarily cheerleading it. I don't want a 51st state. I don't want to be involved in an unnecessary war. I also think that people need to be punished when they start wars. But anyway, don't need to keep going down that path.
Would that include Netanyahu too? All right.
What's that?
Would that include Bibi Netanyahu too?
Include him as far as what? Oh, starting the war?
Yeah, starting conflicts, starting issues.
Yeah, Bibi's the other guy.
Okay, fine, fair enough.
We don't need to play it, but this is just Rubio interacting with Alex Jones. Very interesting. Here's a story that I didn't. Well, I guess they're getting ready to sell InfoWars tomorrow. Did you happen to catch that?
Yeah, I think they're doing some kind of an auction. That's what I heard. I don't. Yeah, that's all I know. I think is it tomorrow then? That's the last day for InfoWars in at Austin studio.
Yeah, they're saying here that on Wednesday. Well, here, let's just let Alex talk. And I don't only bring it up. Look, InfoWars has been a crucial part of the alternative to CNN and MSNBC. They get a lot of stuff right. They're also entertainers and they're bombastic. And anytime you record thousands of hours of content, you can take issue with a bunch of things. I get it. But are they directionally accurate or are they directionally misaligned and intentionally lying about big, important things? So it is interesting. And I saw that Elon Musk has said, wouldn't it be funny if I showed up and bought InfoWars? I wouldn't put it past him at all that he would be the highest bidder. But let's hear Alex explain in his own words what's supposed to happen tomorrow This is a big move. If this chess piece is taken off the board, that's a big chess. That's like taking down a queen, perhaps. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's really happening. Wednesday afternoon, InfoWars, the equipment, Infowars.com, InfoWarsStore.com, and a whole bunch of other stuff is at a federal bankruptcy auction from the fake judgments of the rigged trials where I was found guilty beforehand and they had literal show trials out of the Soviet Union or Nazi Germany. Rob and I walked in here during the break, saw the auctioneers inside the building, going around surveying from the last time they were here to make sure all the stuff's here.
And by the way, just to point out that cases, kangaroo court cases like out of the Soviet Union just to destroy your political opponents, that's been the hallmark. That is the Obama doctrine. At one point, the Obama doctrine referred to just some geopolitical stuff, but really the Obama doctrine by proxy through Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and this Department of Injustice, it really is demonizing your political opponents and trying to bankrupt them, jail them, or shoot them in the head in Butler, Pennsylvania, Blake. I mean, we've entered dangerous territory. We still have 70 some days or something until Inauguration Day. We're not out of the woods with this thing yet. I mean, did you ever think we'd live to see a day where media would be attacked like this from a sitting administration with no repercussions yet?
Yeah, I think it was always in the cards. It was always in the playbook. They were willing to do this, and they got a hold of it back in 2020. And that was their strategy, was to target all their political enemies, and it was very effective. They're shutting down InfoWars. They almost put Trump in jail. They almost blew his brains out. So yeah, it was a lot of close calls on that one. So we have an extra, another chance here to straighten out this country again and make sure that they can't do these kinds of things. This is not why we founded this country.
Exactly. I had this idea that it would be great to maybe have a rotating cast of week-long guest press secretaries. You're just asking somebody to read off a script and kind of be directionally accurate. And you just say, look, I've asked all these people. We're going to do it like a reality show every Monday. Sometimes we'll announce it. Some days it'll be a surprise. On Monday morning at 9 a.m., you'll see a new face. Is it Milo? Is it going to be Alex? Is it going to be Carrie Lake? You could imagine the reality show that would be. And if President Trump just says, look, I would just like them to adhere to these types of things. If they wander off the reservation, that's not what I'm aiming for. And if it blows up in their face, you go, all right, well, maybe that didn't work out. We'll go to the next one. And you just keep rolling. It's just a press secretary. Any thoughts on Alex Jones's press secretary? Pied Piper's asking. Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah, I guess it'd be funny. I don't know if that would be a serious thing. Maybe if he did it for, just as a joke, as a cameo or whatever. I don't know. That could be funny.
I think he could answer the questions pretty well off the top of his head and give you a bunch of backstory and what they call the weave. I call it a weave, a bit of a wide weave. Tell wide-ranging stories. All right, back to Alex talking about the auctioneers circling his place like vultures.
Everything tagged, everything marked. This desk, these tables, this microphone. They're in the control room right now. So that's how close this is. Now, good guys say they're going to buy it. Okay, they're good guys. They buy it. Who knows if they're really good guys once they buy it? You got to see. I don't count on any of that. So working with our sponsor, the AlexJonesStore.com, a new studio's been set up. Satellite uplinks, servers, equipment, legal, everything to keep fighting because they're going to keep coming after us. We've won major battles, not the war yet. So I need funds.
Anyway, so he's doing his thing, and now music's playing, and I don't want another GD copyright claim, YouTube. They just took down a John B. Wells episode about the FCC net neutrality from like 11 years ago for medical misinformation or community guidelines. It's like, get out of here, YouTube. I can't. Any chance they get to flag for background music. They did Toxically Masculine Tuesday, by the way, for that opening music. I disputed it, and they took it off. But they tried to shut the video down and not distribute it because that music, I think you need a more generic opening song because they keep flagging it for something else. I would change that. But anyway.
Well, I think that was a generic song, but I mean, that music is fucking awful from the InfoWars. So I don't know. It's just whatever creepy stock music they have. But anyway, I get the gist of it, and it's just gonna be Alex promoting his whatever stuff. No, it's too bad. It's the end of an era, I guess, and we'll see what comes out of that.
Absolutely.
It's too bad. He's gone through the ringer with that, getting sued. Yeah, that's a major lawfare. Sandy Hook, agree or disagree. So yeah, the Secretary of State would be funny. I can't see him doing that permanently, but just to do it one day would be good. And we'll see what Alex does going forward. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a big question mark out there in the new media space for sure. A couple of
got to get a space somewhere in that new media space. So he's one of those guys that could make things happen. We're waiting a long time for a breakthrough. So we shall see.
Yeah, man, let's do this. As the landscape evolves, just a couple of notes. MSNBC went from 6 million viewers to 600,000 since the election. People don't want to hear their fucking bullshit anymore, says fake Joe Biden. I read that Ask Joe Biden and it made me laugh, had to cuss. Jack Poso saying MSNBC ratings have cratered 50% since the election, and Comcast is now considering cutting it loose and selling it. That's pretty fair. Chris Wallace is going to quit CNN, or a light fire, as apparently he seems to think the mainstream media is dying and he's thinking about getting into podcasting. Blake, do you think Chris Wallace would succeed in podcasting where he repeats the fine people hoax daily?
No, he's delusional. Nobody's going to listen to him. He only has credibility because he's on one of those corporate networks. He's absolute garbage.
Yeah, he is one of my least favorite people out there.
I mean, go for it, Chris. Let's see if anyone cares about you. I'm actually kind of surprised. Some of these hacks, flacks, and lackeys that work for these corporate news outlets, they seem to do better when Trump is there, because people will tune in to like, oh, maybe there's a voice of reason. We have this crazy convict running in the White House. And so they turn to see the trusted CNN, except they're not anymore. I guess they are tired of it. And so that you would think they'd be doing better, because like even Alex Jones would say, I do a lot better when it's a Biden or a Hillary or Obama or George Bush, but I'm not going to do as well under Trump.
That's a good point too. Let me pivot here. Just another couple quick things, and we'll let you get going. I know you got a busy day, Blake. Thank you again for your time. By the way, check out the documentary Blake did such a good job putting together called Hurricane Helene, Help on the Way. Blake, what are the sites that they can check it out on your side, by the way?
I haven't updated the new watermark one. It's just sitting on my YouTube.
I need to get that too. Yeah, thank you for the reminder.
Oh, I already sent that. Okay. Yeah, that's it. It's just on my YouTube, or you can find it on my website too, thenextlevelnews.com.
Thenextlevelnews.com for his website, and at TV's Blake Walley for the other. I want to talk about this. I think this is culturally significant. Blake, Summer of Love, Black Lives Matter, the 2020 riots, just everything has been so divided under the Obama doctrine, and they've been working very closely with Nike, ABC, ESPN, Disney, really pushing division. That's the Obama doctrine. For years, the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA, putting slogans onto jerseys, onto the back of helmets, on pins and patches and things painted in the end zone, painted in the advertisements, on the billboards, everywhere you look. And then you have this story. So 49ers star sacking guy, Nick Bosa, doubles down and mimics a Trump dance during his sack dance despite an NFL fine. So Nick Bosa jumped into an after-game interview wearing here you go. Let me just play this because it's out of order. I'll just play this really quick clip. This is as little as we're talking about. Brock Purdy getting interviewed, Nick Bosa pointed to Make America Great Again, and a chuckle. They fined him like $11,000 for doing this. $11,000, while the NFL has been so pro-Democrat, pro-division. They want to call it unity and harmony, but it's been pushing a lot of division in one political ideology. So he was fined $11,255 for wearing the hat, and he said it was well worth it. Well worth it. He gets a sack. Well, let me hit the mute button. Where we go. Now, he's not going to wear the hat anymore, but they're all doing kind of the Trump dance. And the Trump dance is sweeping the nation. It really is hilarious. Donald Trump weighs in. All caps. Nick Bosa is a great player! Exclamation mark. Any thoughts of just how silly this is to fine him for wearing a hat for 4 seconds, jumping into a post-game interview, Trump jumping in, the culture has shifted where the cool kids are with Trump now. It's so different from just a couple of years ago, is it not?
I'm not 100% about that. I think he knowingly broke a rule but didn't care. It was like, go ahead and fine me if that's the thing. You're not allowed to, advertise political stuff. So unless they did it, unless there was a double standard, unless somebody else promoted Kamala and that was cool, but I don't know if that's the case. So I don't think they didn't fine him very much. He's got lots of money. He knows what he did. He doesn't. It was all good. So it all worked out. And yeah, that's it. I don't have that much of an issue with it. Brian, what do you think? Maybe I'm wrong.
No, look, it's just don't jump into the political realm and pretend that you're not. Don't jump in and really give us that dog whistle about voting Democrat, voting. The whole thing was based on a lie. All this Kaepernick stuff, the Nike, ESPN, ABC, Disney stuff, crammed down our throats based on false information to divide, raise money, and defeat Republicans in a hoax. Oh, you mean there's no racism in America? There's absolutely problems. But it is nowhere near what Colin Kaepernick tried to make this out to be. And that really set off the chain reaction of dominoes infiltrating the sports space. And I don't know. I get it. There are policies in place and you're not supposed to do that. But trust me, Nick Bosa, what's he worth? A couple $100 million. It's well worth it. $10,000 fine. We've said his name a million more times than we had ever on this program. And I think he's got the number one selling jersey, or at least one of the top selling jerseys at this point. So, yeah, it's just interesting to follow culturally, seeing the shift. The cool kids, you're hearing that in the high schools and colleges now. The cool kids are the MAGA, and the nerds and the weirdos, they're on the left. It used to be if you're conservative, you're a geek, you're a loser, you're a nerd, you're a Republican. Oh my gosh! And now it's just completely flip flopped. All the cool kids are on MAGA, and I think culturally you will see differences like this out of Bosa and other people in the sports realm, it seems. But yeah, we could keep going, but this is a nice place to drop off 52 minutes in, right in Blake's sweet spot. You got a million things to do there in your studio. What is on tap next for Blake Walley in the new location? How well anchored are you? What else you got to get finalized? Tell us about your upcoming show tonight. Kind of wind it all down for us.
Well, I'm still waiting on furniture, so we got a delay. It's not coming till Thursday. So I'm here with my desk and my computer chair, and I'm going to be hanging out here until the furniture is delivered, and then I'm going to make one more trek back to Middle Tennessee, grab the rest of our stuff, and I should be fully moved in this weekend. And then that's going to be good. So I got a 1.5-year lease here in Nashville. I will be anchored in. And look forward to this new chapter. And tonight, but there's a lot of work to do. The place that I was staying in was like a fully furnished, like an old timeshare resort where it was just cheap to live and I didn't have to buy furniture and get totally settled down. And I like kind of being out of the way anyway. But anyway, that place is going under, so we had to flee. And so here we are, Nashville. So we had to get in furniture. There's a lot of ordeal and a lot of stuff to buy and get settled in, but almost there on the home stretch. A lot of work, but it's great to be here. I'm looking forward to doing some more stuff and having much better internet as well. And
oh, man.
Am I coming in clear at least? I know I got to get some sound pads.
Yeah, I think you're in a room with no furniture. I think once you furnish it, you're gonna get a very different sound. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we heard you, Chris. It was fine. It was just a little echoey, more so than usual. Kind of saying Blake's the only 10 I see. Lake, Tennessee, of course. All right, well then let's get to it and tell people about the show that you're doing this evening. Hopefully you'll be around maybe for Thursday. Agree to disagree, perhaps 3 o'clock, perhaps.
It depends on when the furniture is delivered. So that's obviously my priority. I don't know when it's coming, whether that's 8 in the morning or 8 at night.
Fair.
Between.
You're at the mercy of the delivery people, of course. But tell people about the show you're doing tonight, whether or not we can do Thursday or not. Tell us about what you're doing tonight and where people can follow that.
Okay, we're on Toxically Masculine Tuesday. Yes, at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with Mike Barra and Trail Boss Steve Doran and Dr. Brooks Agnew.
Nice.
Covering the latest news and current events. So good times. So yeah, you can check that out under, I guess, Mike Barra on Twitter or Rumble or YouTube would be the best spots for that. So coming up in about 5 hours.
Heck yeah, sounds good. Follow Blake at TV's Blake Walley, of course. And then on the way out, one last thing. Tell people about the documentary that we did one more time. It was a labor of love, and I want people to watch it. But in your words, like, what did it mean to you? Like, what was it like putting it together? Why do you want people to watch the project?
Yeah, well, it's good to see. Just people working together to rebuild after they got ravaged by Hurricane Helene there in North Carolina. Quite a surprise there. They got hit with a big impact and massive flooding, and it was like a once in a 100-year type of thing. And they got to rebuild, and they were let down by FEMA, whose job it is to go and help people. But it was really the people in the community and surrounding communities, because we went with Grizzly, who's in Virginia, but we were doing a lot of traveling into North Carolina, where they got hit the worst. So yeah, that was pretty cool to go down there and get a guided tour. Brian and I were there, and we did some filming and put it together in a little mini documentary. And you can go check that out on the website, or either mine or Brian's YouTubes or what have you. It's going to be in a few different locations. So you can go check that out, because those people still need a lot of help and support, especially as the winter is going to be setting in. Because there's a lot of those, they're not going to rebuild a lot of those small towns. They're going to shovel everybody into bigger cities or the FEMA camps, the dreaded FEMA camps.
There's another story in Michigan where they're commandeering an old toxic waste dump at an airport, and they're staging a bunch of FEMA supplies, and they're wondering what's getting ready to happen in Michigan. It's another story maybe you guys will cover tonight, but it's out there in the news. Stay tuned. And I do want to follow up with Grizzly and kind of see. I know they were saying that they're going to need generators now. We were able to raise many hundreds of dollars that we were able to donate directly to Grizzly for his relief efforts. They drove a caravan of supplies in there. Just fantastic. All the sponsors, all the people that showed up and donated. But yeah, they need ways to stay warm. They need generators to get some electricity. And based on check out Ford Fisher at News2Share, News, the number 2Share on X. And yeah, he was in digging through rubble and the damage, carnage as well. It's everywhere. And it's not done. They're not fixed. They're not made whole. It's an ongoing situation. So I don't want to abandon the story, and maybe we can work some fundraising in down a little further, as the weeks turn into months and as the temperature drops into the negatives. Maybe there's some more we can do. I don't know. I'm even pondering going back. We'll see how it shakes out. But yeah, don't forget about your prayers while you pray for President Trump and his safety of his entire cabinet and his team, to continue to keep the thoughts and prayers of the North Carolina people, Hurricane Helene aftermath, in your memory. Okay, Blake, thank you so much. If you want to support him, he's on Cash App as well, $Blake W99, because independent journalism can be yours if you help support it. So Blake, thank you so much. Congratulations on being you're right there. You're right. You're at what yard line are you at, ready to score the game-winning touchdown with moving in and getting settled in? You're at the 10? You're at the 5? You're at the 20? Where are you
Just
at?
in the red zone. Until the furniture is actually here, it doesn't matter. I mean, they could delay it another week for all I know. So let's just say I'm on
Delay of game.
I've already got
Red
the
zone. You're
moving
in the
truck. Yeah, I've already got a lot of the bolts stuff, but some of it's out of my control. So
That's
we'll just
fair
have to
enough.
wait.
Kenneth, you're right. Let's hope Trump will help North Carolina, and let's hope that Trump will help this great nation. Wow, it feels good to have some actual real leadership on the way. I'm super excited for the golden age. I'm definitely concerned about some of these picks, but that's how it's going to be. We're going to play it out and see how it happens. Thank you, everybody. Blake Walley, everyone out there in the TNAM universe, including Kenneth and Pied Piper and Josh and everyone else who commented. We appreciate you.